Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel and another video. Let's play the intro and get right into it. Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel and another video. And joining me, as always, I put the bat signal up late and he arrives, saves the day as he always does. It's Mr. Neil Shah. Neil, how are we? I know we spoke about it already once, but we can regurgitate for regurgitating's sake, especially with a win like that. So,
have to, mate. Have to. Thank you so much, James, for having me on. You know, I always appreciate that. And what an honour to be here. But wow, what a moment of history. We have to talk about it again.
definitely,
Come on, let's do it.
definitely.
Let's do it.
So, just first of all, before we go deep into that one, Arsenal obviously beforehand on the Saturday played Everton away. It was a 1-1 performance on the day. We come into it with a change side. Obviously, Ben White, Kivior, Jorginho, Trossard, and Sterling all come in for Timber. Gabriel, sadly, that was injured. Partey, Odegaard, and Martinelli. Neil, I know you don't like line-up questions per se, but what did you make of the changes, just from the point of view of a lot of people said, Arteta stood there in a conference a couple of weeks ago and they said about the title and he went over my dead body. And then when you looked at that lineup, it was sort of like, well, even though you've not verbally conceded it, you're sort of thinking with one eye on the Madrid game instead of, prioritizing both, which to me, I think, a lot of people have said, oh, they're 12 points in front. They've been, I think it's been done since probably Christmas, even before then. So, but I know a lot of Arsenal fans like to bash with a certain brush, but yeah, what did you make when you obviously saw that lineup and everything? Did it irk you like it irked some others, or did you get it?
No, look, you know me. I've always said it's until it's mathematically impossible, we're still going to win it. I'm always like that. But at the end of the day, let's be realistic. This is the biggest European competition for clubs, for club football, certainly in the world. I think you were saying, James, the other day on Michael's podcast, actually, you think it's the second biggest competition. So even for you, even bigger than the European Championship, which is next to the world. So, when you have an opportunity like this, where, we can potentially progress or do well, we don't want to be risking key players. We've been decimated by key injuries all throughout the season. We can't add to that list. We just can't afford to. Unfortunately, we lost Gabriel lately, and it's just one after the other. So I was absolutely relieved that he had made the changes. I don't think he can say something like that. I just don't think you just can't. When it's still quite early days, isn't it? I mean, if we're towards the end of April, then maybe, but beginning of April, I think he'd done the right thing by just sort of making out he's not conceding it. But like you said, at the end of the day, he can't be taking risks. It was too much of an important game. So that's how I saw it. I agreed with it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it's one of them, isn't it? He's damned with if he does say it, and if he's damned if he doesn't. So he can't really win there. But yeah, I thought that obviously we started quite well against Everton. We had a good chance early where Pickford tried to play it out the back, and it come to Trossard, and I thought he was going to shoot himself, but he ended up giving it to Nwaneri, and Nwaneri obviously passed him the ball, and it went out to Ben White, and he did one of them trademark overlaps that he does, and the cross come in, and it fell to Raheem Sterling, who had the shot blocked. That was one of the best chances, and then Arsenal did eventually score. Lovely goal from Trossard, and again, long ball forward, and the header come back to Raheem Sterling, and I thought, you've got a clear run here, son. And then when he didn't take the run and he passed it, I thought, oh, you dick! Like what you like I normally do with most things, Sterling, sadly. But no, Trossard, worked hard there and got a lovely shot away and a nice goal, Neil.
To be fair, I think Sterling did really well. I think that was a good run.
Oh, it was. Yeah, I just thought he was going to carry it up.
I see. Yeah.
Sprint all the way through because you're through. But
yeah, I get it. Maybe he just hasn't got the confidence. Well, he's obviously we know that, we've seen it. So that's the next best thing. But as it transpires, it ended up being a good run, a nice assist, and a fantastic finish. And I'm sure Trossard scored a very similar goal against them before, very similar. And it was that's what makes my heart ache a little bit. I've always loved Trossard, you know that, James. Always have. And he's got that in him to do things like this. But I just felt that this season his mind hasn't been quite right, and he just seems really angry. And I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, we're not privy to what goes on behind closed doors, but it just something doesn't seem quite right with him. So it won't be any surprise to me if he does leave this summer. But the fact that he can do that sort of stuff, and he was doing so well when we first signed him in that January window. He's got it, and he's got that in abundance to be able to do stuff like that. I just wish he did more of it and was more consistent. But hey ho, it was a great goal in the end of the day, so I was not complaining at the time.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. I mean, when he first come in, I was elated. This was a player that I looked at even when he was at Brighton, and I was saying we should sign this guy. He'll be fantastic for us. And like you said, when he did initially come in, because Jesus obviously got injured, and Nketiah wasn't pulling up trees. He slotted in, and like you said, yeah, he was scoring, he was assisting, and then the minute Jesus got fit, he lost his place straight away. It wasn't a case of earn your place back. He just chucked him, and I think that ever since then he was just sort of like, well, hang on a sec here. You've not appreciated me for what I've done. And maybe he didn't have a cob on fully by then, but yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100% this season. He's definitely, been angry. And like we said, there's times where, and Mike said it as well, where he's playing for himself. He just looks like it's an angle for a move in that I'll do stuff here that's sort of flashy to get my name in the headlights and hopefully get a nice little signing on fee or whatever when the summertime rolls around. But yeah, he nearly scored again right at the end of the half. Obviously, Kivior played that through ball in and he hit it and it went straight to Pickford, and then the rebound come in for Rice, who had his shot blocked. But yeah, the second half obviously marred by what is a absolutely ridiculous decision. I mean, Jordan Pickford hits the long ball and Kivior, I know he got man of the match for the weekend, but I thought that was quite generous because this error by him to allow that ball to bat, he just got to head that away. He just stops that at source. We don't even have this moment happen. But yeah, obviously it bounces over the top of his head. Harrison's running through for Everton, and Miles Lewis-Skelly gets in a tangle with him. I don't like, British media always use that phrase, oh, well, it's a coming together. I'm like, well, it's a contact sport. That's if you don't think there's ever going to be coming togethers, it's just a stupid thing to say. But yeah, it's never a penalty in a million years, is it, Neil? I mean, the guy even afterwards gets straight back up to carry on playing because he's like he wants the advantage there because he's got a shot away if he wants, and they get the penalty and they obviously score it. David Raya again doing the usual of diving before the guys actually took the penalty, which he needs to stop. That's one of the only critiques I have as him as a goalkeeper. But yeah, obviously I think I can already tell what your view's going to be. But what did you make of the whole situation? Because it's another ridiculous one, isn't it?
How that's given as a penalty, I don't think there's many people that actually said it was, to be honest. Even after the game, post-match analysis, even Shearer, I think, was saying there's no way that's a penalty. Sorry, are you still there, James? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry, you just froze for a minute. It's just ludicrous. I mean, I don't want to. I'm so bored of talking about this controversies. It keeps happening to us. It's not gonna. It's by no means the first. It by no means will be the last, James. We know that, right? We know that. We just get ref differently. Skelly was on the floor when the guy was going down. He's on the floor. And what is it? Yes, there was contact, but it was so soft from Skelly, and there's no way. And even if it is construed to be a foul, there's a lot of talk that or suggestion that it actually happened outside the box, the initial contact anyway. So even if it's to be given, then give a free kick outside the box. But it wasn't a foul, it wasn't a penalty, and it cost us another 3 points, and we lost so many points like that over the last gone as how many years. So no surprise to me, to be fair. But it's poor Skelly that seems to be getting the brunt of all these decisions. That's what's worrying. But you know what?
Yeah.
The fact that he did what he did after that, it just goes to show this kid, he's our future, James. You know he is.
He is. I mean, the referee that gave the penalty is the same ref that didn't overturn Michael Oliver at Wolves. So for me, I just thought to myself, like, you've just got previous where they've mugged you off and made you look stupid when you tried to send him off for that stuff beforehand. I think his card's marked. I'm not saying he's marked like Granit Xhaka was, Neil, but I don't think he's going to get away with half of what he has now. I really do think they're going to go for the guy. But yeah, another great performance for him. Not much else really to touch upon with that game, other than I will say, on here where we do the man of the matches, and I know me and you had the same, and I've got to big him up. For me, I've gone for Kieran Tierney here. He had a 15-minute cameo here, Neil, in this game,
I know.
and he made three key passes. He was a huge outlet on that left-hand side with Martinelli, who, when he come on, he looked lively. Like I said the last couple of shows, Martinelli's looking back to his best. And all our attacking threat after the Everton equaliser come from Kieran Tierney. And in terms of looking at the players that were out there and who was trying to make that draw into a positive result, I thought him and Martinelli, especially him, like I said, in 15 minutes, 3 key passes to try and get us something. I thought he was superb, Neil. And it's sad that it's going to end up the way it's ending up with him leaving in the summer. But I know we'll touch on it in a minute. But yeah, hopefully he can leave with something big to take back to Scotland with him or wherever he goes. I think everyone said it's pretty much a done deal that him and Celtic are going back. So.
I hope there's a way they can reverse it. I don't want him to go. I think he is our best left back in terms of orthodox left backs, without a doubt. But how many times I used to say to you that partnership with Martinelli he had, the fact that him and Martinelli, they seem to have some kind of bond. It's just natural, and they can be so devastating on the left. But even if you take the Martinelli equation away, everything he does, since he's come back from this injury, I do not remember him making one wrong move. He's done nothing wrong, and in fact, he's been such a threat. He's been such a threat as well. I think we're being really stupid to get rid of him. I know he's had his critiques and everyone's worried about his injuries and stuff, but I'm sorry, so far, so good. So a bit like, you talked about Trossard losing his place to Jesus as soon as Jesus was fit again. I just feel sometimes players get at the end of a raw deal and it's not justified for me. To be honest, we'll talk about the game on the weekend a bit later, but I hope he gets a full 90 for that because he deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. And, he's never moaned. He's never complained. We've backed him through most of his injuries. Obviously, he went on loan as well. But, what I do like as well is, like they've said, the majority of the club, I mean, Celtic's the big one, but the rest of the other clubs that I've seen him linked with are abroad. Because I think he doesn't want to play for another English team that isn't Arsenal, I think he respects us that much that he's like, I don't want to do that. So, fair play. And if he ever does come back against Arsenal, he's someone who will be applauded for me because, look at the year when we won that FA Cup. He was fantastic. When Arteta first come in, he was fantastic. That goal in the snow against West Brom and everything. He had iconic moments, and I hope like we said, when he leaves at the end of this season, he can put a nice big Champions League medal in that Tesco bag when he leaves. So it'll be good. But yes, obviously talking to the Champions League, Neil, and you were there. Oh, sorry, just quickly as well. Sorry, just to touch on with the Everton game. On the 9th minute, both sets of fans for Kevin Campbell. I thought that was fantastic. I really,
beautiful.
It's very rare you'll see both fans doing something like that.
And, I loved it.
Yeah,
that was special.
Yeah. No, it was a great moment. But yes, the big man himself would have loved this big moment that we had in midweek. And you were there, Neil, and obviously going back to what we were saying there about Tesco bags, I'm guessing you had one of your. Did you take it home with you? Did you have one of your Arsenal Real Madrid bags?
I got one, and I had so many that I could have picked up after. I wish I had now.
Yeah, have you? Well, they're being sold for mad money. There's one of the lads I work with. He said, "Yeah, they're like 45 quid on eBay." I'm like, you should have picked them up.
I could have picked up about 20 of them. No one had bothered taking them home. It was mad.
I think it's people that have not gone. And they're just like, I'll pay whatever it is so I can look like you know what it's like now. It's the old FOMO brigade.
Because I think it's happened a couple of times, but not often. The programs had run out as well. And I didn't get
Wow.
there that late, but you know where we're outside the
Oh,
stadium where
what
you
they
got
ran out pre-game? Oh, I thought it was people buying them after. Trying to buy 'em.
pre-game they
Wow,
run out.
that's crazy.
No one was able
Fair
to get
play
any
though.
more. Oh, that's good. I think
Yeah,
everyone's recognised it was a
for
very, very
something
special
print, for
occasion.
something in print media, yeah, to sell out. That's great.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, that's really really good.
So
But yeah, obviously we had the light show and the music and everything. And I, you said the night before, didn't you? You said 3-1. I felt a win as well, but we got something completely what we didn't expect. But yeah, Arsenal obviously flipped the lineup, playing arguably what Arteta would deem our strongest side now with Gabriel out.
yeah,
So yeah, Odegaard and Partey were back in, Martinelli and Saka were back in as well, and we started quite ropey. Obviously, that first 30 seconds, Kivior again had another lapse, and Mbappe hit one straight into David Raya. And then Saka had that loose pass that Vinicius made into a great run, and Saliba ended up blocking that. But straight after that, really, it become the Arsenal show. We nearly get an own goal after great work from Bukayo Saka, who crossed one in, and it was blocked. And then Rudiger, he knocked it straight into Camavinga, and the deflection nearly hit the back of the net. We get a corner from that. Partey has the header from that corner, and if Saliba was just a little bit to the right hand side, I mean, like we said, we have seen him score a goal with his bum this season. He is that world class that he can twerk on a ball and score. But yeah, he blocked it this time. But you must have been in there thinking like, God, we're dominating Real Madrid here, boys.
James, I have to say, just a little bit on the atmosphere. It was incredible. I mean, it wasn't just the approach to the stadium. Even as I got out of Finsbury Park Station, I've never felt anything like it before. It's hard to describe. It was like a palatable buzz in the air, without it actually being there, but it was there. You just knew there was something different, but in the air. And the streets were just full, and everyone was on a different level. It's very difficult to explain, but as you're approaching the stadium, normally the singing starts maybe as we're walking up the stairs, but the singing had started well before that. It was just a very different feel. Yeah, people were just talking about what they thought was going to happen and the lineups, and it was just buoyant, absolutely buoyant. And that I think Michael posted that thing about that girl saying she's not even a football fan, but please do more of the same. And that just goes to show how much of an effect a game of football can have on a whole community or even a whole city in this case. It's insane. And I'm glad that we are the pioneers of that. I'm glad that we are the ones that have allowed the Prem to have an extra place in the Champions League. It's down to us. But yeah, I mean, just to feel the good feel factor in there was incredible. But you're right. We were doing to Real Madrid, and I was perplexed. I was confused. I was just looking at the guys I was with, and I'm like, is this really happening? I couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't think I mentioned it on Michael's pod, but I was a statue because I was actually in shock. I mean, I've been going for 45 years or whatever it is. The game's 40 years now. I think I've been watching since 1975, and there have been some incredible moments, but this was incredible because it was so shocking. Because even when we beat Barcelona, we were, I don't know if James, you still there? You've completely frozen. Oh, okay. God, thank God. Even when we beat Barcelona,
I'm listening intently, Neil. I'm listening
oh,
intently.
okay. When we beat Barcelona, it was a closer match. So it was although it was shocking, you always had that expectation. Oh, they're going to go and score another, aren't they? They're going to go and score another. This was utter for me. Apart from those few moments where think about their front two, 67 goals between them. That's scary, right? That's scary. That is scary. And the fact that they've got the Real Madrid badges on them as well, you're thinking, we've got no hope, haven't we? We've got no hope.
I don't know
Yeah.
if altogether this season we've got 47. So
I
I
know,
think 67.
exactly.
Sorry,
It's
67. Yeah.
absolutely crazy. It's just mind-boggling, and they're like, I thought we made them look ordinary. I couldn't believe it, James. I was in shock.
You know what, Neil? And I'm sort of jumping the gun a bit here, so I apologise. But one thing I did notice, and funny enough, when my dad spoke to me after as well, because he was saying about, obviously La Liga in this country is behind a paywall now, so you don't really get to see Real Madrid. He's like, normally back in the day, if Sky had La Liga on late in the evening or whatever, I'll chuck that on just to see what's going on with, the Galacticos or these great Barcelona sides and what have you. And he just was talking about like how petulant some of them are. But he said Ancelotti must be seething, because he said they're so bloody lazy. Because he went, all of them are. He said all that Arsenal front three work. If they lose the ball, they go back and they want to get it. And he went, that Vinicius and that Mbappe. Now I'm not doing that. He said they just want to stay where they are and just have the glory. He went, they do not work hard. And he went, I don't know how Ancelotti lives with, he must be seething that. He said, well, like you said, when you get 67 goals, how hard do you have to work, really? Because you do your work in front of the. But at the same time, I looked at it and was like, you probably come here, and obviously Mac, that was on Mike's show with us, said that they didn't really put the work in. They did not think that Moreno would be a threat and everything. He done over 12k, ran the most out of any of our players the other night, which is something you wouldn't associate with him normally. That's what you'd get from Havertz playing up there. But yeah, it was brilliant. But yeah, we had another one from Partey as well that Courtois saved, and Martinelli obviously had the rebound as well. But we go in at 0-0, and you're thinking, right, okay, 0-0's fine. If we can get something here in the second half, this will be amazing. And obviously the second half starts with Mbappe again, but he gets it saved, and then just again Saka driving, working hard. Obviously put them 2 crosses in the first half that nobody met, which was a annoying moment, but he's working so tirelessly, Saka, and you can tell he's clearly not 100% fit. But and I've mentioned it before about like with Ian Wright, where he will break himself if it wins Arsenal something. And that's, as much as that's a positive, it's going to be a huge negative for him in the future, because I can see him being like Ian Wright, where he might struggle every day with normal day-to-day life or routine. But if it wins Arsenal trophies, he doesn't care.
No, I agree. We were watching him thinking he needs to come off. As much as an influence he is, I think I might even put it on our WhatsApp group. I was thinking, why didn't he play unwary? Because Saka's just not match fit. But I've watched the extended highlights back twice, and now I realise I was wrong. I mean, look, yeah, to the detriment of the player, maybe, as you said, in the future. But on this occasion, if you just take it in isolation, even though I'd say 60% fit, if that, look at what he's did. Look at the impact he had. I'm upset about those balls he put into the box. I don't know why. What is it with us that we have this abject fear, if you like, of running into the box? Why? Why are the people not just take a chance? You don't have to be a striker. Everyone's saying, "Oh, well, that's why we're lacking." That just shows why. It's glaring now that we need a striker. But sorry, James, any Dom, Dick, and Harry can just run into a box, and if it's there on a plate for you, you just literally touch it. The momentum will carry the ball into the net. It's going to be so difficult to miss from a position like that. That I think it was the first one, especially that Saka put in, and he was so angry. And it was Rice, actually. Ironically, it was Rice who was at fault there. I don't know why.
He said after the game, didn't he? Yeah. He was like, I didn't think that I'd have made it, but he's like, I know now.
Yeah, but you've got to try. But James, you've got to try. You just run. You just keep running. I mean, even a fat git like me would keep running. Hi, Michael. I would. I would just go.
It's Real Madrid, isn't it? So you'd launch. I would launch myself at the ball.
Exactly. You would, wouldn't you? But you just would anything. Yeah. Just get a touch on it somehow. But he was so. He's an incredible human being. It's just, we were talking about Tierney being a consummate professional. I think Saka is as well. He just is. Yeah. It's just everything. He is the perfect guy that any kid could look up and idolize, literally, or see as a hero, or just even if you're not an Arsenal fan, youngsters can look up at him and say, he's a really good person to try and model myself. If I ever want to become a footballer, or even if not even a footballer, just as him as a person. He speaks so well, outside the games, and just his attitude is insane. But he, it's down to him that we got the first free kick and the second one. It's all down to
Yeah.
him.
I mean, obviously the barometer is always, and the consistent is always Saka, when they try, and all these other players that they're like, oh, he's better than Saka. I'm like, well, Saka's the name that you always use. I'm like, Saka is the constant. So clearly, and for me, since we've been back in the Champions League, which apparently, Saka's not going to be classed as world class until he does it in the Champions League. Well, since the 2 seasons since we've been back, Neil, he's got 15 in goal and altogether his tally is 15 goal or assists. The contribution for goal and assist is 15, and I think the player that's got the most next to that is Rafinha at Barcelona, that's got 19, and that equaled the record held by Messi. So you're saying Rafinha for me at the moment is arguably one of the best wingers in the world, and so he's definitely in that bracket. I mean, people go, "Oh yeah, but you're an Arsenal fan. You'll say that." I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not selfish enough or blinkered enough to not be able to watch this guy and go, "Do you know what? He is superb." And yeah, like you said, he's 60% fit. What would he have done if he was 100% against Real Madrid? Because he done enough at 60. And this is why I say to you, and we've said it for how many years now. I'm like, you've always got to play him, because he can go a game where for 89 minutes, ghosts, you can't see him, you won't find him, and then he'll just spit, on just a turn of a, blink of an eye, turn of a coin, whatever you want to, flip of a coin, whatever phrase you want to use, he'll win you a game. And that's what Jack said, and he's a game changer. Yeah, we haven't got a game changing player other than him, in my opinion. Well, there might have been one born, because we finally got someone that's brave enough to take free kicks. And you spoke about it a minute ago. Obviously, the first one, Neil, you're in there. What did you think when he put the ball down and everything? You're on mute. I
What
know
did
you're
I think?
trying to get your thoughts back.
Well, yeah, what did I think? I just thought, I just didn't think it would happen, because we're so rubbish at them. We are so abject. I was thinking, God, don't be Odegaard. That was my main thing I was thinking. But I just thought, no, there's no chance. And then it went in, and I honestly, I tell you, this is the truth, and I'm kicking myself for it. I never celebrated that or the second goal, because I didn't believe it. I was frozen. Everyone else around, you can imagine the stadium's
Yeah.
going mental. People, I mean, if they had, can you imagine people in the pubs? You'd have had lager all over the place. You would have been absolute pandemonium. So
Hmm.
it was ridiculous. And I just stood there, and then my mate Mickey, he turned around and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What's happening?" I said, "What's happened? This is Real Madrid.
Yeah.
This is Real Madrid. Can someone pinch me? This is Real Madrid." And we've just seen one of the best free kicks I've ever seen live. I've seen some, but that this is against Real Madrid. It's a completely different ball game now. I couldn't believe it, James. What an execution! And
What?
you know what? I'm going to say now, and this is, let me just get my anger out of the way. I am sick of those arseholes trying to put it down. Not just that one, both. Oh, the wall wasn't this and this. What are you talking about? Right? End of the day, whatever the wall was, that is a very, very difficult thing to pull off. And against, as you say, James, the best goalkeeper in the world, who actually proved that in this very match. He probably saved 5 other, possibly at least 4, I think, goals. Any other keeper, I think we would have won that game 6 or 7-0.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 100% with you. I mean, obviously, straight after this free kick, we have a great bit of work from Lewis Skelly, who we'll touch on, Neil. I promise you, we'll touch on. And he slides in Martinelli. Martinelli has that shot. It comes out. Moreno then hits it on the volley, and he saved both of them. I mean, yeah, he is the best for me. As much as I know he's ex Chelsea and everything else, but he is a fantastic goalkeeper. But yeah, we could have. That's the thing. We're sat here and we're glazing over a 3-0. But yeah, this could have been a 7. That we could have. And I mentioned it with Mike the other night, didn't I? I said we could have done this. This could have been a cricket score. It was superb. But yeah, Saka again, great bit of work. And I've got to say, Neil, I know this is a debate, but for me, I think this one's better. Just for the placement of it. It is the postage stamp, as people like to say. And you say about the first one. When I was sat at home, obviously I've seen him take it and everything else, and I've seen the net ripple. But I thought, oh, it's gone behind, hit the advertising boards, and come back. Yeah, And then when it flashed up and the commentator was like, "Oh my word," and he's running away, I was sat there going, "Oh," like you. I was like, I've just froze, like, "Oh my word!" And then when he's got the second one, I'm like, "He's not going to hit it again, is he?" And when he did, that's when I did. I mean, poor Dan, bless him. He must have thought something. He must have thought there was like an earthquake or something, because I screamed this bungalow down. I mean, it's not even that big of a bungalow, but I nearly, tore the thing from the foundations, because I just lost it, Neil. I just lost it. One of the greatest goals I think I've ever seen, ever.
I would have to agree.
Yeah,
I was sorry. I was still in shock. I was like, what? I just was. I don't know. I'm still, even now looking back at how I'm trying to feel about it. I was, yeah. Look, you see, it's another PSV result with it. Yeah, I think it would have been, but anyway, I'm still in shock. Look, I can't even get my words out here. I just couldn't understand what is happening. We don't score a free kick for how many years? 5 years, 4 years against Burnley, was it? The dead ball
4.
free kick.
Yeah, obviously
For 4 years.
Saka scored the one against PSG earlier in the year.
Oh yeah,
but,
okay.
but I think technically that was a cross, and he got
Mm,
it bobbled, and he was like, I don't think he aimed that, in my
okay.
opinion. He
Okay.
probably did, because he's, like I've said before, Saka can piss through Cheerios and not get them wet, but it's just. But yeah, no, sorry, I'll the rise.
But
The second rise.
I just, it's to have two in any one game is a treat for us. I think Pepe did it, didn't he? When was it a League Cup match? When
Yes,
he scored two?
no, it was Vittoria in the Europa League, and
Oh, so it was in Europe. Okay.
it saved Unai Emery's job. There were a few people who were like, "Oh, for God's sake, why have you done
That's
that,
right.
Pepe?" But no,
Yeah.
I wasn't one of them. I don't want to see anybody
Oh
get
no, I
sacked.
love Pepe.
I'm
I
not
was
that horrible. Oh,
yeah.
I love Pepe's one of my favourite players.
Yeah,
I love him.
I was so happy for the bloke. So it was like, since then, I thought, this doesn't happen. So I was just
Yeah.
standing there again, and people are thinking, what are you not celebrating for? And I'm like, what do you want me to? I don't believe it's happening. It's not happening. It's not real. It just didn't feel real. But then, you just get caught up in the moment, and oh my God, then you see the replay and you think, what the hell is that? You're right. I think it is better than the first. I think everyone's saying that, though, aren't they? A lot of people are saying that is the perfect.
There's a few that have said the first, because they've said it's the cut. They've said the curl is
it's curved
very
beautifully. Yeah.
They're like, it's very reminiscent
But
of
this,
the
in terms of
Roberto Carlos.
accuracy, this
Yeah.
is exactly. You can't stand up on. Well, for me, I have to stand up on a ladder. I won't be able to stand up on a ladder and put it manually with my hands in that as perfect as that. That's how perfect it was. You can't get more in the corner, and I don't even think it hit the woodwork. It was so perfectly in. It was the most exquisite free kick that I have seen in a long time, and I think probably the best one I've ever seen live as well.
Definitely.
I can't recall anything like it. And I think the technique, if you see his body shape as he's taking aim, it's the perfect textbook free kick, but just executed against arguably the greatest club side ever. That's what makes it so special. And he got two in the space of 12 minutes? Was it 12 minutes or 17 minutes?
It's crazy.
It's mental, James. We should be like, mate, I'm celebrating this for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah. I think you have to. I mean, Dan said to me when he come in the room, because I said, you've got to watch this, and you know what he's like football wise. If it's not the 97-98 season, he's not interested. He liked football then, but and even he was going, oh my God. He said, he's like, that's perfect. He's like, that is just perfection. I went, yeah. And he's like, oh my God. And he come in afterwards and was just like, because I did a post game show and everything else on the Highbury squad and everything. And he just said, like, you're not going to be able to go. And I couldn't. I didn't sleep till like 3:30, because I just wanted to watch it all back. I didn't watch the full game, but I just was like, where's all the memes? Where's all the hype? And I've done that for about 2-3 days now. I've been at work, and I have worked really hard. In case any of it, I have done everything. But when time allowed it,
I'm the same. I'm the same.
Oh,
I'm the same.
I can't get enough of it. And I know it's only half time per se, and it's only the first leg or whatever, but you've got to enjoy. How can you not enjoy beating the greatest side in the world in a competition that they're the greatest in, with the greatest manager that's ever managed in that competition? He's won it how many times with two sides?
Knows.
I think 5 or so. So, do you know what I mean? I'm like,
let's not forget, we've been decimated by injuries all throughout the season.
Yeah,
we could have just bowed out. We could have got in. We got no chance against this team, and yet let's give a shout out to all the players actually, and their attitude and their mentality. With all the decimation they've suffered throughout the whole season, one after the other, and even in this game, Saka going in there not really match fit, going there without arguably the best defender in the Prem this season, Gabriel, having all of these issues, no Havertz, no Jesus, who probably would have played potentially against Real Madrid because of that Champions League pedigree that he's got, having all of that to contend with. And the attitude to absolutely, I'm going to say it, take Real Madrid apart bit by bit. It was beautiful.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, and I agree with you. And then, obviously, it's not a free kick, but the third goal, and it's Moreno again. And like we said, Lewis Skelly with an assist, 18 years old, Champions League against Real Madrid, not phased. Him on the day, what was it? 100% of his tackles, he won nil. 100% of his dribbles, 95% on his passing, 2 key passes, and then he got the one from Moreno for the assist. Obviously, we'll wax lyrical about Moreno and the goal, because that again is another one that's hit just first time, curled in, goalkeeper's not got a chance. What a finish. What a finish by him. And like I've said before, if I said to you in January we're signing somebody that's going to get 10 goals in 6 games, you'd have gone, bloody hell, who's that? What, this guy's doing it, and he's not even, he's not played in that position since he was 9 years old. So that's been a bit of a stroke of luck or a master stroke, whatever way you want to call it, from Arteta to put him up there, and from him himself, because he's had to do the work. It's not like Arteta's just said, "Oh, I always knew he could play up there," type thing. He's had to grind for it, and but Miles Lewis-Skelly, I saw today as well. Out of all the left backs in Europe, he's the best for dueling and keeping hold of the ball. And he's only been playing for that little, he only come into the first team, October, November time? And he's the best in Europe at it. And I know people have said, oh, he'll make his way upfield to play in midfield and everything. Well, you can play him anywhere. I mean, when Tierney come on, he did move up. And I love that he's got that versatility. But I'm looking at him and I'm like, don't move him. Don't move him. He's the best in Europe. He's arguably the best in Europe at his position statistically. I know that a lot of people say stats, so I'm like, why move him? I mean, for my sins, I do watch a lot of European football, and there's only 2 that I've seen this season that I would go that are better than him, and that's Nuno Mendes that plays at PSG, who Michael and me speak about a lot, and the other one is Vitinho at Inter Milan, and Inter Milan is that he is the best in the world. Sorry, DeMarco at Inter Milan. Sorry, he's the best in the world. He is, DeMarco is, but he's right up there with them 2, I think. But yeah, what about you with Lewis Skelly? Is your wax lyrical time about him before? Obviously, we go into the Moreno goal.
God, I don't know what to say about him, because before he kind of really started making an impact, I was wax lyrical about Ethan, wasn't I? I think even for me, Ethan has been eclipsed by him. I know there's no disrespect to Ethan. I just think he's been. I think maybe it's a harder position, a bit more pressurized to be up front. I mean, being Ethan and Wary, because they've got that expectation, because he's almost created his own kind of how can you say benchmark, hasn't he? That he's expected to do those things and then come on his left foot and then just pop it in the corner, and he's done that beautifully so many times. But with Skelly, there's something slightly more, and I know he's a year older, but that's nothing really if you think about it when you're that age. But there is just something a little bit more, I feel, mature about Skelly. It's almost as if he's been part of that back 4 longer than anyone else, if that makes sense. It's like Saliba, Gabriel, and Timber are the newbies, and he's the one that's been there and he's been doing it right from day one for the last, say, 7 years, and he's been peak for the last 5 years of those, 7 maybe. But he's just come in first few months and he's made the position his own. He's one of those ones that picks himself in the team sheet if he's not injured or suspended, and you know that you're going to get something amazing out of him. But I just like the way he's not the biggest player, is he? He's not the biggest player, and yet he can just ward off players, hold the ball, somehow scramble in between them. That run he done against Everton, then he did something similar even in this game a couple of times where he's in the box. It's all very, very close and it's congested, but he's managing to wriggle his way through, using his body and able to put Fred passes through that one, which then led to that trio. That was from him, and I think he did a couple of others like that. And you just got to marvel at this kid that he's not just doing what he should be doing as his name suggests as a left back, but he's articulating exactly what Arteta wants from him. I just hope we can keep these guys for a long time. I've got nothing else to say.
Yeah, they are brilliant. And just to give a huge props to Moreno. What a finish! What a finish!
No, please, that is just.
Yeah.
We can talk about Rice's goals forever, and we will. I remember I've told you my regret about the golden era is I didn't appreciate it like I should have. This game, I'm going to appreciate till the day I die. I don't care. I don't even care. I know it's not going to happen because we're going to win. You know what? We'll come to that in a minute. But in the parallel universe, if say we don't, right, I'm still going to be waxed about this game for the rest of my life. And as good as Rice's goals were, and they were world class, I also think Marina's goal was world class because he even, you talk about, masterstroke from Arteta, and you're right. It is a very good thing that he's done. But like you said, he's also got to do the work. And he did the work there because he moved backwards. And he was putting his hands on the floor. So here, give it, here. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with that ball. And to do it that quickly, that sweetly, and that accurately. And to give, again, the best goalkeeper in the world, no chance. Through a myriad of defenders and players. That was the more I watch that goal, James, watch it again, the more I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, I'm so with you. And the thing that I bigged up the most, growing up as a kid of the '90s, Neil, Alan Shearer, as much as he played for opposition side, in Newcastle and everything else like that, I loved him. I loved Alan Shearer when I was young. Obviously, Euro '96 was my first big tournament. And he was so good in Euro '96. So I was Shearer mad. And for him to be on the comms and just go, I'm sorry, like you put there, he went, that's some goal. And he's like, if anyone knows goals, it's me. And he's like, that is a superb, because they were joking, the other guy was joking, going, oh, they ain't even got a striker, and look what's happening there. And Shearer was like, no, that's a striker's finish. He's like, he knows. He said that's instinct. He went, you don't just,
How can the man be getting criticism? You said he played at the age of 9. He did that once. So at the age of 9, when you're 9 years old, you want to play striker all the time. He says, I played that position. Maybe he was with a club or something, and he probably was. But he's played that position once. So it's once in his life he's done it. He's come in, and yes, he's not as centre forward. I saw it when which game was I alive at? And I was watching him very closely, and all the time he kept drawing back because it's his instinct to be in the middle. So he wasn't acting like a centre forward. But having said all of that, you can't criticise him for what he's done. You just can't. It's not his fault, is it? But he's actually doing what we probably would, as you said, if we'd signed someone in January and we'd got that turnaround, we'll be chuffed.
Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. And then the next best thing, and I thought this referee was terrible, by the way, but someone gets sent off for kicking the ball away. I thought only Arsenal players this happens to. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, someone else is sent off for kicking the ball away. Was Camavinga, who we've spoken about for, I don't know what happened to it. I think, like you just said, Saka just shell-shocked a lot of them. They just didn't know what happened when Saka took over. So yeah, he had an awful game. But yeah, for me, all the players and I'm not saying Odegaard was rubbish, but he was the only one who was not, for me, at this upper level. But still, he contributed with his press and his work. That's the thing with Odegaard. It might not be happening for him on the ball and everything, but I'll never, like Ozil was a lazy bastard, weren't he? Ozil, he wouldn't run for nothing. This guy, if it's not working on the ball, he'll keep trying. And there were times with Ozil as well where if he tried something and it didn't come off, that was it for him for the rest of the game. Odegaard will keep going. He will keep trying to do something. So that's the big props. But yeah, man of the match for this one. Obviously, got to be this man. I mean, two free kick goals in the knockout phase of the Champions League. It's never been done in the same game. So you've always said it, actually, Neil. We break records, good or bad. This is a very good one. So I mean, I had to. I will say, take the free kicks away, and Lewis Skelly would have
Oh,
ra-
without a
would have
doubt.
run with this, Neil. But
Yeah, easy.
I've got to give the props to Declan
You
Rice, and
have, yeah,
also
you have to.
I've critiqued him a lot.
And in
Like you
fact,
said,
Skelly would have probably handed the trophy to him if he had the chance.
definitely. And I've critiqued him a lot, and you were on the phone with me afterwards as well, which was a brilliant, lovely phone call. That if that could have been recorded, I wouldn't have had to have done this, because
Yeah.
that was a great phone call.
Oh, bless.
But Thomas Partey, like you said, was it Imperious? You said to me the other day. Is that the right way to say it?
Imperious.
Imperious. That's it. There we go. Brilliant.
Oh,
That second half, and when he's like that, like you said with
no
Mike the
one's
other
better
day,
than him.
yeah, it just is too fleeting. It just doesn't happen enough. I mean, thank God it happened in this game. This is the
Oh,
games you want it to happen in. And I'm like 4 more of them, Thomas Partey.
yeah, 4 more, please.
Yeah, and I'll be over the moon.
Yeah. Then you can do what you want, mate. You want just 4 more.
Yeah,
4 more.
yeah.
Just win us that blooming cup that we've not ever won in our history, please.
And
Because I'm sick of hearing, oh, Aston Villa won it and Nottingham Forest have won it, and I'm like, and Chelsea won it. Oh, over.
And I thought Timber was really good as well on the right hand side. I mean, he's just it goes without saying he's a 7, 8 out of 10 before the game even begins. I think, but yeah, he was superb, and Kivior as well. After he started shaky, he was good.
Brilliant.
He done his job.
Let's give him a shout. No, you're right. Let's give him a shout, because to fill in Gabriel's shoes and to do it the way he did it, that's against Real Madrid. Come on, you've got to give him his props. I don't want people to sit there and not. He's got to be mentioned. I think he took the job on as well as he could, and that makes you feel better for the return leg, doesn't it? That he'll obviously, it'll be him, and we can feel confident with him there now. It was an inspired performance by all of them, James. Every single player.
And I mean, a moment like that, as much as I think we all deserve that as a fan base, as a club, whatever you call it. And again, someone I have highly critiqued, so I'll be highly in my praise of him. I was so happy for Arteta, Neil, because I'm like, you needed to go toe to toe with one of the biggest managers, and like I mentioned earlier, this guy is the best manager in this competition's history, and he didn't just beat him; he slapped him. I'm like, we absolutely rolled them over. I mean, like you said about, oh, you're in dreamland whilst you're there. I'm sat at home, and obviously it was loud coming through my telly, but I'm like, there's 60,000 plus screaming, "Are you Tottenham in disguise at Real Madrid?" That's where I'm like, this is brilliant. This is the best thing.
That was the best thing. In fact, I'm not trying to blow my own, but I started now at our area. I started that off because I started singing it. To be fair, I did hear it on the other side so I kind of followed suit. But then everyone just jumped on, and oh my god, everyone was pissing themselves, but also in disbelief, still in disbelief. We were actually singing that to Real Madrid, really? And then Mickey was next to me. He goes, "But they're kind of in the same colours, so yeah, it's Tottenham in disguise, isn't it?" I went, "Yeah, you're right." So. Yeah, it was great. Everything about it was just perfect. Whether you're lucky enough to be there or to watch it from home or in a pub, it really was one for the fan base. We've deserved something like this for a long, long time. It took so long for us to, get back to the level with the big four, the top four, if you like. We managed to finally beat Man City by a good score this season. We've done that with the others as well. We finally overcome that hoodoo of always losing to them, and not just losing to them, but being humiliated by them. We just needed something like that in Europe as well. And we've done it. We've done it, James.
Yeah. Man, I mean, absolutely joyous scenes. And it was absolutely brilliant. And I loved watching the match itself. I loved watching all the post-game stuff. Like I said, I've just had it on repeat pretty much for most of the week. But yeah, just Michael quickly here. He's put a question in there. He said, "Would we have won the league last season if Timber stayed fit?" Well, what was it? We lost it by a point, or was it 2 points or something? He definitely would have saved us points somewhere, because 1v1, like you said earlier, what was it? 67 goals between them, and Vinicius. A lot of their fans, especially they didn't even turn up to the Ballon d'Or because they were so angry that Vinicius didn't win it. So they think that they've arguably got the best player in the world in Vinicius. And Julian Timber was just like, well, I've made him look like a bang average Premier League, sort of made him look like he was Anthony at Man United. You know what I mean? He did nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. definitely.
And yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, you're spot on, Mike, again. But just quickly, and Mike will like this one. We got Brentford tomorrow. I've done my little lineup here, Neil.
Oh, is it
I don't know.
tomorrow? Oh.
Yeah, tomorrow, 5:00 at night. Sky. It's on.
Oh.
It's on the telly. We're on telly a lot now. You beat Real Madrid and you're on everything. So can't wait. But yeah, I've got my lineup here, Neil. And I know you don't like these questions a lot, but
I'm gonna
literally,
probably just. Oh no, let's see.
no, literally, Neil. All I want, because we've got to keep it short and sweet anyway.
Go on,
if you just give me a yes or a no
on each one,
and then here we go. So,
all right, go on then. You shout. You shout that. Go.
I got David Raya in goal.
Yes.
Ben White playing at right back. Saliba and Kivior,
Mm.
because we've got nobody else that can play.
Okay.
If we had a Tommy Asu or someone, Neil, I'd be putting him in there. But
okay, cool.
Tierney
so far.
got to get the 90 minutes.
150%.
Yes. Jorginho, get him in.
Yes.
Zinchenko, play him as a midfielder, but
yes.
it doesn't really matter anymore. Odegaard,
yes,
we haven't got enough players there.
Yeah.
And
I love the next one.
Yeah. And then Nwaneri, Trossard, and Sterling for me, Neil.
What a team. Love it.
Yep.
I'll agree with all of that.
All of the three that come off in Rice, Timber, and
do not
Saka,
play them, please.
If you do, 20 minutes at most. 20, 30 minutes at most. Okay. If you can leave them out altogether, smashing. But yeah,
I think so. Yeah. You don't want to risk anything, James. We can't risk it.
No. I'm not, as much as I still want to beat Brentford, and I don't want to give Liverpool this guard of honour and all this, because I hate them. I know. I think a couple of years ago when City won one of the leagues, they went to United, and United refused to do it. I'm like, I know we're the class club per se, and I'm like, can we not just go? Nah, not for you.
No, to be honest, to be fair, I remember, that they, when the Hillsborough year, when we won it in '89, our players all took, every single player of us running had a bunch of flowers that they would pass to the ground. So I think there is that little bit between us and Liverpool. I think we will do it.
And there's the cup final the year that Rocastle died. That was the one where Owen scored the little shit, and they handballed it off the line. You know what? Henry never did well in a final when that guy blocked. After that, he never played well in a final again. After that guy handballed it on the line.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, they were very classy with the David Rocastle stuff for that as well.
So I think there is something like that between the two clubs, and I think we would. But we've got to look. As much as it looks like it's a formality for them. And they've been so lucky. They've had no one really pressurising them. They've been very lucky this season, I think. But we're not talking about this podcast is not about Liverpool. It's about us beating Real Madrid. However, I will say that we've got to still try to make them work for it all the way until the very last moment where mathematically it's impossible. I still think we've got to do that. But no way we do that at the detriment of this so important game coming up next week. No way.
Agreed. And didn't they give us a guard and honor in '98? Yes. Yeah, they did. Yeah, true. Well, maybe if we give them a guard of honour and pump them 4-0, that'd make me feel better, especially at Anfield. Pumping them 4-0 at Anfield, I'll be over the moon with that, Mike. I'd love that. I'd say give us a title now. We've beaten you. So, you've just pumped 4-0. We're the champions now. But yes, Brentford, obviously, Neil, tomorrow. I'm gonna be that guy. Sorry, I did it last week. I think 1-1. I think we're going to draw here.
I can't do draws. It'll be 2-1.
I know. Good.
2-1.
Good. I'll take that. Who's going to score, Neil?
Brace for Nwaneri, of course.
Love it. Fantastic. And then I know we did our predictions.
Oh, you know what?
The other night with Mike in the Bernabeu, but in case people missed it, go on, Neil. What's happening in the Bernabeu?
4-0, and that's not aggregate. 4-0 at the Bernabeu, so 7-0 aggregate. I think we can do it. I think after watching them the other day, they're scared. They are scared of us. And as you said, you talked about Timber just shutting that player up, and they're scared of us. And I think they're going to have to. That's the problem for them. They're going to have to come at us straight on from the off. That's going to give some space, give the time to the faster players on our side. Martinelli, I think I'm praying it happens. But I think Martinelli is going to have a great game, and I think he's going to score at least one goal and maybe be involved in a couple of others. I think we're going to do them 4-0. I know what you're going to say, but I think 4-0.
Yeah. I'm sticking with my 1-0. Ethan Nwaneri to recreate the Thierry Henry celebration prediction. That's what I'm going for. But no, you're right, because look at what we did with the space in this leg. well, they're going to give us even more because they've got to win. They've got to win. I mean, they're probably not going to sack Ancelotti after this game, but well, they might if he gets if we pump a 4-0, 7-0 on aggregate. I think they will sack him. That is what Real Madrid do. They are a ruthless club, so I think they probably would sack him. But yeah, thank you so much, Neil. Obviously,
can I say one thing? Just
yeah,
one
of course
thing.
you can. Yeah.
Just a bit of a loss, well, not a big loss to the Guna family. Excuse me. Very close, dear friend of mine, and she was very well known. She was the landlady of the Gunners pub, Una, and I didn't really know much about this, but she's passed, and I think apparently the funeral was today. It's just such a loss, been a shock because everyone's got their own opinions of people, but for me, she was the most generous and caring, one of the most generous and caring people that I've ever met. She was always on the phone to me. She was always checking if I was all right when I was going through bad times, checking if my mum's okay. And then every time I met her at the pub, just always the most amazing person. And she's no longer with us, and that's a massive, massive blow. And I'm feeling a bit cut up talking about it now. And it's just, I just wanted to give her a shout and rest in peace. And hopefully, I don't know what the afterlife is, but I just hope. I just wish her happiness, whatever it is, if there is such a thing as an afterlife, and my thoughts to all her loved ones.
Yeah, and I echo that as well. I've been in the Gunners a few times while she's been in there, and she's always been very nice to me. She's been nice to my family because we had a gig a few years back at Finsbury Park, and I was like, oh, let's go to the Gunners before we go there. And yeah, they were really, really nice. And she always, when she on social media, she always shared this channel and this show. She shared all the purely stuff. Mike's in the chat. I don't know if she probably did. She probably shared Mike's stuff as well. And yeah, she went to a few comedy shows that I went to in London as well that I saw her at. So, and like you said, yeah, she was always. I know she might not have been everybody's favourite person in the world, but to me and you, and I only go off how people treat me. And yeah,
exactly that.
She was a wonderful lady. So yeah, I echo it.
Beautifully said, James.
R.I.P. And yeah, thoughts with her and
do you know what?
friends.
As you're saying that, and she had the same colour hair. She was almost a bit like the Peggy Mitchell. She was a matriarch. She really was. And
yeah.
she's a bit like, and being a landlady of a pub herself, it just kind of reminds me of her. But just such a most caring, beautiful human being. It's such a loss. It's so sad. She wasn't even that old, and it really, yeah, it hurts. It's a big loss.
Yeah. No. Well, as always, thank you so much, Neil. And we will get you back on hopefully next week. And we can talk about this 7-0 aggregate win.
But yeah, I can't wait. Come on, James.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great one. Enjoy tomorrow's game. And keep watching all the clips. Don't let people tell you how to enjoy things. Enjoy them, revel in them, because you might not get nights like this again. We're going to have 4 more, but you might not get nights like this again. But yes, take care, everybody. Much love, and let's go.